Okay. Here we go. No riding around tonight. Nope. We will let everybody, there they are. As everybody starts to file in. It's 7:34 on this rainy Monday. And I'll start talking when we hit 200, 100, and then I do have some news to share on this investigation that I will share when we hit 200. So we're live Monday night. I could do some greeting, I suppose. Yep. I see Cheryl. Good evening, Cheryl. Hello, everybody. What a couple of days this has been. There's Linda. Always thinking of you and Ryan, Linda. Folks, there we go. Look at the numbers take off. We're doing this a little bit different. We're also live on YouTube and X as we continue to grow all our platforms. We certainly do. There's Mary. Hi, F1. I like that. Good evening, Ashley. Yes, there's Lynn Miller. I've been waiting for Lynn Miller. How about the mayor of East Providence? I love all the comments. Thank you, Brenda. She's so sweet. What a supporter. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Lisa. I appreciate that. Folks, 130. As soon as we hit 200, we'll start taking you out. Thank you very much, Seth. I appreciate that. The mods know I pass around the compliments, but I don't. Thank you, Kitty. That is very nice, Kitty Mac. Look at that. There's Sue. I like the moderators. Yes, we're not riding tonight simply because of the rain, and also it's been a long couple of days, and then I have to be actually in court tomorrow covering a big trial in Massachusetts. But I do want to there's Sal. Sal and I have so much fun. Thank you, Susan. There it is. There's Alicia. Well, hold on one moment, folks. Someone who's okay. 181. All right, we're almost there. Robin knows. I was actually glad. Thank you, Pam Riley. I was glad that this was a rainy Monday because thank you very much, Wanda. I appreciate that. Listen, I like doing it, obviously, and you have to. Thank you, Michelle. Folks, there's Garney. Great job by Garney. Yes, thank you, Robin. There's Kelly. Kelly, I love your comments. The mods know, and I like they pray. Thank you very much, Donna. One of the moderators said, I'd look at Josephine. So if I'm talking, so Josephine's just going to jump in with a question. Josephine, what is that? How you handle in a room when you walk in? Do you just start firing off questions? Don't you think that maybe I'm going to ask that, or I'm going to answer it? I should say, folks, you got to learn chat etiquette. We don't want. Thank you very much, Gail. Let me signal that out. I can be the moderator tonight. Thank you, Tyler. Hi there, Josephine. Learn some manners. No, we don't do that. Nope. I don't blame you, Kerry, and we're going to talk about that. All right, we're at the 200. There's Jane Rice, and I'll keep talking. Let me get back to, thank you very much, Catherine. The mods know. One of the mods said, I know you hate it, but great job. Josephine Fernandez, proper chat etiquette. People are talking. Thank you, Janice. We don't just walk in, and we don't just start backing out. If you walk into a dining room and a group of your family or whoever having dinner, do you just walk in and ask a question? Does anyone know where my hat is? No, we don't do that, do we? No. Hi there, Ginger. No, we do not. Thank you. There's Beth. Thank you very much, folks. I will, that's right. How about that? They want legislation. No more booing at parades. I kid you not. I shut comments off. Lynn Miller, you shouldn't do that. There's Tracy. Folks, I want to, I have so much to share. But just let me get it out, and then I will take some questions as we go along. But people need to learn, hi there, Heather, chat etiquette, which is, this is as if you're entering a room, people are having a conversation. You don't just start bursting, throwing out questions. So I hope so too, Renee. I'll be honest with you, folks. I have, like a lot of the other people involved, I mean, I haven't slept well at all. I certainly didn't sleep well Wednesday night. I didn't sleep well Thursday night. Friday night, we were all talking about it. Thank you, Paula. Good evening, that's Paula. I know, I don't like that, Kerry. I can't stand people that use the R word. The R word was retired. I have no patience, and some people just throw it around. It's so insulting. Hi there, Jelly Lynn. So that's it. Well, I grew up in an Italian family. That's right. Garney, you don't need to put that, Garney. The mods, we're getting flagged. You don't need to put that, Garney. So, and I'm not trying to call you out, but I'm glad I saw that. All mods, take from what I'm getting there. We can't do that anymore. But anyhow, folks, I kid you not. Now, we like to have fun. We know that. But this was life and death. This was every moment counts. We don't have a lot of those. So Tommy Bryant steps up. There he is, the king of Rumford. There he is, the third term. Hi there, Susan. I know, Sue. That's okay. Thank you very much, Josephine. There is a time for questions, but we don't just blurt them out, right? I'm glad someone mentioned that. I have no respect for anyone that uses the R word. And people, I think people need to be called out. That word, I remember I had on the head of Special Olympics. We retired the word. You don't use that. That's, by the way, that's not freedom of speech. That's insensitive speech. That's insensitive speech. If people say, well, I should be able to use that, that's rude. And it's very disrespectful. And it's wildly insensitive. So, I mean, we're not like the people that try to argue that. There's Chris Moran. There he is. Thank you, Chris. It is. The R word. I don't allow it. And by the way, the filter on here in all of my filters. Thank you, Cassandra. We don't allow it. I have people that say, "Hey, what's going on? You're hiding my." I'm not hiding your comment. We have that word, the R word. For words that don't show up on my feed. It's my feed. How about I like someone was like, thank you, Teresa. Someone was saying, hey, this is a public page. You got to let us post whatever we want. No, well, that's not happening. I don't know what world you're living in. No, it doesn't work that way. No, you don't use that. This and I understand there's a lot of people that they don't have a clue. Social media brings a lot of good people together, but then you get the people that you'd never want to. I've tried, Lori, and we'll continue to try. There was a campaign about it. The only people that use that now are highly offensive, no class, and uneducated. So I'll do that. Thank you, Cheryl. I'm telling you, Laura. I mean, that is. So, folks, here's the thing. I want to talk about Cranston. But since people picked up on that, I kid you not, it's that Newport senator. You know what this is really about? I'm going to go off on here. There's Bruce. Thank you, Lynn. There's Lynn Lane. Lynn's taking a short break. We cycle people through. Folks, how about all the moderators? This was not easy. This was very demanding coverage. It's one thing when I do it. It's another thing I ask everyone else to do it. That was a lot. Right? Friday, Saturday was long. Saturday was 6 hours live before 7 o'clock or before whatever friggin' time. Excuse me. Yes. Very, very unacceptable. Jessica, please. Jessica Perry. No. We don't use the F word in print. Once in a while, I use the F word. All right. I'll just give it to it very simple. The senator in Newport, Dawn Ewer, or whatever it is. Think of all right, I will tell it. I'm not in a rush. Where are we going? It's raining out. Thank you, Ray. That's right, Jessica Perry. I like the energy. I'll just tell it quickly. So it's so stupid. Folks, think of the problems in our state right now. They're withholding the federal money. Thank you, Susie. Good. I appreciate that. And content is what it is. Like, I have these people come at me. What kind of journalist are you? I am a content creator and content provider. Thank you, Paula. I appreciate that. There's my old friend. That's right, Jessica Perry. Not in print. That's another word. I mean, it's not going to show up. We will, Lisa. I'll stay on that. I'll stay on that. But anyhow, just very quickly, the senator in Newport, they want to shut down my Instagram page because I showed the St. Patrick's Day parade where there's some people that were booing. So not only do they want to shut down my Instagram page, now they want legislation that you shouldn't be booing politicians at a parade. What? Like, think of the bridge, think of the school system, think of that lack of jobs, all the problems in the state, and they're targeting me. It's absolute insanity. But I want to talk about this weekend. Yes, thank you, Ray. I don't know, Shayna. All right, let me get into a couple things I want to just stay with me for a moment, folks. We're in no rush, right? It's a rainy Monday night in Rhode Island. Where the hell are we going? Nowhere. Unless I hitch a ride with Paz to Foxwoods, which I'm not going to. I have a long day tomorrow covering a trial in Massachusetts. I'll be back at night. But first of all, and I know some of you say, you don't have to say that, but I want to put it out there. Let me be very clear, because I don't read all the comments. I don't have time to read the comments. This weekend, as a matter of fact, I didn't read any of the comments. I don't have time to read the comments. We're about to hit 90,000 followers on Facebook. And Facebook estimates will be at 100,000 followers April into May. So we're about to hit 100,000 followers on TikTok. Instagram is about to hit 53,000. YouTube just hit 53,000. So X continues to grow. Plus the radio show and the website. The website comes in handy. Hey, I didn't say it's the slickest website. It's like a reliable car. It's dependable. It does exactly what we need it to do. But I do want to address a couple of things. Number one, there's nothing in this story about race. This story is not about race. I did see some of the comments. I did see some of the stuff. And I saw some of the comments from people attacking other people with apparently some of the comments today. I posted the mugshot. First of all, I mean, you guys know, we had her name on Saturday. How about, now we can all, yesterday, how embarrassing. And it was the reporter, I don't want to say which newspaper, the Providence Journal, but the reporter of the Journal's like, no, what's the person's name? And one of the police officers said, check DePietro.com. He's had it there since yesterday. Today was, I won't say which member of the media. A member of the media is saying to the family, it was actually kind of uncomfortable, saying like, who was Roberta missing? And how great is Kim and Jacqueline? I mean, they're just amazing. I love them. Yesterday afternoon was just an incredible afternoon. I didn't even talk about it, and I didn't go live last night. But they called me. Kim called me, and her brother John, and so I went, and I was with the family at Rhode Island Hospital, and they're wonderful. I mean, it was remarkable, and we were all just so happy. And they have a beautiful family, and Linda's sister was there, who's their mom. So I had on today, Kim and Stephanie, and Jacqueline, and how great that was. Jacqueline following Roberta to the car. So that was rage, and deservedly so. They are tremendous, Jessica. But I want to be very clear, folks. This isn't a race story. Like the people that say that, you lose credibility when you just start injecting it. When there was concern about Linda on Wednesday night, no one knew who the caregiver was, what their race was, male, female, white, Latino, Hispanic. That it doesn't apply. The fact that the caregiver was arrested. Thank you very much, Tommy Bryan. Thank you for that. Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate that. But I want to be very clear about that. That's foolish talk. This has nothing to do with race. Listen, the way the family reacted, the way everyone reacted, you would react that way of regardless of what they look like. So young, old, white, it doesn't matter. So that it's not a race situation in any way. It was there's few things. I like how these people are still just listen. The family will make a decision. I wouldn't be. I don't know. I haven't even asked them. I wouldn't. If if you're them, me. And again, I have no idea, and that's a very personal decision. Maybe you put her closer to most of the families in Massachusetts. So maybe you put them a little bit closer to where they are, and then they could see her and keep tabs on her. But that family is just so terrific and with such dignity. And Kim is just, I mean, I met them Saturday night and they're great. And then I learned I didn't even know they were watching so much of the coverage. And John, the brother, is fabulous, and his wife. I met Linda, as I said, her sister, who's their mom, and then her husband, so their father, and that he's just great. And it was just such a, it was just such a happy moment, folks. And listen, we live here. We have to live in reality. Things have not been. We haven't had a lot to cheer about in the 401 in a little while. It's been a while, put it that way. Between the bridge and the controversies and all this foolishness that goes on, the reaction of people coming out in that way, and it did feel like there was just, I mean, Saturday night, Friday night, you have to. I was like, and then I wasn't my imagination. You see I'm watching, filming the FBI. They're checking the water, and then Saturday morning, the drones flying over the Patuxent. I wasn't. I wasn't. I wasn't off in that. You start thinking something happened, and then we're gonna find the body somewhere. So it was. I mean, there's certain days of the year that blend in, and then there's days that just stand out. And what happened over the past couple of days out of nowhere, and it started, when I saw that on Thursday morning, the Cranston police put out that still missing. Not, and you're talking about an autistic adult. I have a family member who's autistic, and my nephew, one of my nephews, and it's frightening. And you see what the family goes through, and he's loved, and he's a beautiful young man, and he certainly around strangers can tense up. So you do worry that could be a situation someone can't communicate freely. And then when you see her and she's just so innocent, I really want to thank the caregivers that came out, that enlightened us, and then that really turned things on. And then I want you to understand that I just then felt no one had to tell me. I followed enough of these. I've done enough of these that you're talking about hours. And, I was telling Sal, I won't get into it, but just a quick story. Sal, who's brilliant, that it's been a while. It was, I don't know how many years ago now, but when I was on a radio station down the dial, and I had scored a big interview on a Saturday. So I go over and I'm going to interview the person. It was a great interview. It was a great, as they call it, a great get. No one else had spoken. And then on Monday, one of them, it was new management, but they said, we're more like a Monday through Friday operation. And they said, and on top of that, why don't you just worry about, like, you're supposed to just be during your time frame. And I thought, well, that's not how the news works. Instead of like, hey, that was fantastic. I mean, I view news as it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. By the way, I don't think I'm wrong, but it was just such an eye opener. We're a Monday through Friday, not even nighttime operation. So, like, couldn't it wait till Monday? I said, no, it couldn't have waited till Monday. This was a story that needed to get out. But anyhow, so, I mean, it's demanding, but it's not every day that we're looking at life and death situations. By the way, it's not lost on me. First responders deal with life and death situations. Firefighters go into situations, life or death. Someone in there, they got to get them out. Emergency room, rescue, paramedics, police, someone's overdosed, clock is ticking, Narcan, whatever the situation may be. But there's few situations where we want to spread the word as much as we can to try to have someone be jolted and then be able to jump into action. Now, I could give a couple of different analogies. I will answer questions, by the way. If you have questions, just bear with me. 5 more minutes. We're going to let the Cranston police investigate. If you read depetro.com, it's not your imagination. The whole thing is sketchy. The whole thing, I mean, caregivers, I don't know how much they make, but you saw the way she was dressed today. Those are expensive wigs. I also, when they released the mugshot last night, I located her TikTok page. The rest of the media didn't have the TikTok page. She's dancing. She's got her brand new car. She has 4 kids, going through a divorce, has a new young boyfriend, seems to have a lot of cash, $5,000 Gucci bag. You saw it. The reason I posted some of the TikTok videos, she's got very expensive clothes. She looks like she's got the young boyfriend, who I think she's 20 years older than, right? He's 24, she's 44. Just the whole thing seems odd. She was getting her nails done. Not supposed to do that. Left Linda in the car. I don't know what to believe at this point. I don't know what to believe at this point. But, that we could just speculate. That I want to repeat, it's fantastic news that she was found. And the family statement was excellent, that I like, because they highlighted the people that came out. They thanked and highlighted law enforcement. And it was just so well written. I'm just so impressed, folks. When some families have a tragedy, a lot of bad things can happen, and they, fight and lose it. This was a family that came together. It was a beautiful moment being part of it with them yesterday at the hospital. And I can't make any promises. I have a feeling that we will have a chance, and I'm going to introduce you to Miss Linda. I have not met her yet. She was getting medical care. Family was going in. I mean, I think that would be a really remarkable experience for all of us. And I also want to talk about, I was very taken by a number of the parents that brought their children out to the house on Saturday night. And I've heard from so many parents of both special needs children and also adults. And I was so glad that Chief of Police in Cranston made a point about that. There's my Bridget. She's so great. It's terrible. And so this is about our we hear about most vulnerable. Linda, he's kind of like a 4-year-old. It's like a 4-year-old mentality in a 90-year-old body. She's very frail. She's very dependent. She's got a gentle, kind, beautiful way about her. I just, those women that came out, sometimes people think about doing something. I told the family, there's Lisa, that I told the family that's the closest thing. It was it's like being at a wake and then the person's alive. I mean, I kind of felt, I'm telling you, I kind of felt the last time I felt like, they're alive. It's the feeling that the apostles must have had on that first Easter morning when they rolled away the tomb. I mean, it was that type of like, what? I thought they'd say they found the body, but she's alive. Now, yes, exactly right, John. That would be the goal. But we'll see. No rush. They've been through a lot. Hey, I don't know. Maybe she's not up to it. I'm happy for the family, the way they demonstrated their grace and handled it with such dignity and class. If you saw them on the news, I mean, Kim and Jacqueline are just, you just don't meet people. I mean, they're just so fantastic. And Kim is great. I mean, the whole family is great, and the parents. But that's what it was about. You know, that's like that neighbor, that neighbor that Friday night had a little bit, somebody slipped her a Mickey Finn, someone who's not afraid of vodka. Um, yeah, look at that, George. Or Gina, excuse me. You have your name backwards, Gina George. It is Jean Ann. It is. And we need to highlight that more. You know, we're hearing a lot. Well, there's certain groups, and I don't want to get into a political discussion, not tonight, but we hear a lot of, you know, all the protests in New York about we got to help Hamas and we got to help all these poor, you know, the Palestinian people. And look at locally how the media was going crazy because a doctor who's a member of Hezbollah, they wouldn't let her back in the country. The local media, they were like crying about, oh, they got to let her back in. I can think of another group that maybe could use some attention. Maybe they're not the loudest. And all the protests at the State House and everything in. What about our most vulnerable? What about the autistic community? What about those that are special needs, both children and adults? And they, you know, that community and all those people, they need to be seen and acknowledged. That little, you know, the young man holding the sign, I was interviewing his mother, you know, he's doing what he can, and he's doing more than most by holding a sign. So it was just, there was a lot there. There was a lot there. Now, she was fired. First, she was suspended. She has been terminated. The investigation continues. I don't know what to make of that story. I don't. And we can speculate. The whole thing is so odd. How did she end up in that car? How long was she there? She's in the hospital yesterday. It doesn't, who was giving her medication? I don't want to give away certain things. We've talked about it a little bit. She is, thank you, Carrie. She seems to be stable, and at least she's alive and in the hospital. I'm sure they're checking her out and making sure all her vitals. I mean, as far as I know, we haven't heard any other update than that. But I know everyone was, but it was a that was pretty amazing yesterday. I was very happy for the Cranston police. I was. You know, folks, police, they're under the gun. And we have so many people around us that just knock them. But that's who you call, right? Like the people that ridicule me. Oh, you know, you're with the cops. As opposed to what? Being against the police? This is craziness. And I stop it down. It makes me sick. I'm not going to get into it. There's another case that I cover. Oh, the cops are corrupt. That's a foolish statement. Is Todd Padalano corrupt? All those Cranston police spending hours going into the river. So the chief of police in Cranston's corrupt. The Providence police that we deal with. Oscar Perez. Commander O'Hara. The chief of police in Warwick. We're supposed to believe all these people. It's just ridiculous. I can't listen to it. It's total foolishness. And I don't listen to it. To me, it's pretty simple. Listen, there's always going to be mistakes in every profession. But more often than not, something goes wrong. That is the system we have. These are people that are trained to jump in and help us. And I think they delivered, and I think they delivered in a big way. I was very happy for the Cranston police yesterday. Look at that. Thank you, Deborah. I didn't realize that. You rode up and down Pond Street. I didn't know that. I mean, now, yes. Well, that's the thing, Taylor. That's the thing. I'm excited to see where that's going to go. I have not heard about punctures. She initially, they thought, had some marks, like she had been tied down. I don't know. Some of this we're not going to know, by the way. Some of this we're not going to know. Why? Well, she's alive and there's HIPAA laws. All right. Thank you very much, Alton. I appreciate that. You know, folks, I was telling someone earlier this afternoon, and a lot of you, many people are new, but so when I won't get into a long story, but there were people, I would film what was going on, and then they would say, "Well, that's not true. You edited that." Blah blah blah. So then I said, "You know what? Then I'll go live. So then there's no edit." And they still knock it. Listen, something is odd about the caregiver. I don't know what it pays. I don't know how it pays that much. Expensive clothes, wigs, 4 kids, pays the rent on the apartment. She pays the boyfriend's rent apartment. Something is off. I'm going to leave that to the police to investigate. I think so, Diane. I think there is. So, I agree, Derek, but that's all they have right now. That's all they can do. I know, some people also, there are some people who they were saying they should, hook her up to a lie detector, not let her go. You can't do that. And by the way, folks, there should be a now picture of Linda. I don't know what that means. There should be a now picture of Linda. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. Possible. Very possible. Just seems to be a lot of money. But you're living on that street with a Lexus SUV? Exactly, Lisa. We have to. Maureen, it'd be helpful to know what happened. Oh, they're still investigating. She cannot deplete. That's the legal system. Folks, what you need to know is there are people at the State House trying to loosen the criminal laws. The Rhode Island State House, a new picture. All right. Well, that's up to the family. That's up to the family to release. I don't disagree with that. Let's let Linda get a hold of herself, and maybe they want to get her hair done, and then they could do that. Apple AirTag. I agree. It seems very odd, Brenda. I don't know what to make of it. I don't. Before and after. Again, that's entirely up to the family. They may choose to do that, or they may not. I don't know, but I think privacy for Linda. I think it's. I also heard it's not that much paid. That's what I heard, Deborah. I heard like $24 an hour. I mean, that's what I heard, but maybe it's more. I don't know. Matt, I initially started to dismiss that, and right now, folks, I am open. I don't know what happened. Um, that's right, Tamara. So many of you guys were great. Tamara was out there. Thank you, Tamara. That's right, Heather. Yeah, well, they're not. It doesn't work that day. She does deserve that, Cheryl, but we don't know. Is she up to it? That's what they're up to. But I know there were a number of people they did. I can't tell you how much. Cranston Police again. There's a lot of police departments that would not have done that. Triggers me as a special needs mom, nonverbal teen. Okay, I'll pass that along, Kelly. I think it would be nice. I would be very happy to coordinate a gathering, come out, and everyone get a chance to like a receiving line and give her a hero's welcome. I like the idea of that. Maybe I'll reach out to. I don't know if Rhode Island Special Olympics are going to do something, so I don't know about that. Rhode Island Special Olympics, I'm sure if they were going to do that, they would have someone from Channel 12 like be the MC, which is fine. I would just want it to happen. Love to give her a new purse, Taylor. All right, I'll find out about that. I'll find out. And maybe she has some friends. I'd like to, I think this is a really worthwhile area to go into because it's so tough on parents and it can be tough on families. She's free. She's free. And I think you have to, I know that some people are saying, her nationality has nothing to do with it. If someone is a flight risk and could bail out of the country, that's where it does come into play. So thank you, Gregory. I appreciate that. I don't know, Lori. I'll let the people in that business. I know nothing about that. People that I know in the business, they have a certain temperament that I do not have. They have a certain talent I do not have. They have a patience. They have a gift. It is a calling. It is, it's a vocation, is what it is. You know, when we were young, and I'd be sitting there with my mom, youngest of 7, we'd be praying. My mother would always have us pray for each sibling and then say, please, God, place them in their right vocation. And that was always the word my mother used, and it's true. Honest opinion, I think the guy that found her in the car had something to do with it. I don't know. Cindy, I don't know. And I'm going to let that go. I mean, who can say? Caroline says the people know her won't pick up on anything different about her. I agree. Again, she needs like a full physical. All right. I think she's going to have plenty of that. I'd like the idea of a in-person get together. I mean, if people would come, right? We don't have another situation of like Peter Brady's birthday party. He's running room to room and there's nobody there. Thank you very much, Derek. You know, as I told you, I can make up. I did cancel. I had plans with people. I was like, it can't happen. And one person was almost insistent. It doesn't matter. It's someone I know. I said, you don't understand. You want me to feel? I'm not going to be there. I am like, this was on Saturday. I said, you don't understand. I'm not. You want to see me tomorrow, Sunday? I'm not there. I'm just going to be like looking at my phone. No, we'll meet when you can have my full attention. I'm not. I need to be there. That's why. So that's right, Tommy Bryan. All right. I can get rid of that person. Let's see. There we go. And then we'll get rid of the comment. All right. I don't know what to think. How about the people coming on the page defending her? People make mistakes. Roberta's got a Christian background. I like that, Tamara. Tamara, that is fantastic. Yes, I like the idea of being able to meet her. You know, Tammy, I will find out. That's a very good question. I don't know that. I don't. There's a longtime friend. There's my friend George. They did. That was not easy. This was a tough case. And folks, I like it did, Lisa. And I think I hope I heard that Special Olympics, they did a plunge to raise money and they jumped into, was it a Narragansett Pier somewhere down there? And I heard that when word leaked out that she was alive, it was like a roar went out. Everyone was excited about it. I love that. I think she should. Again, I can't. I have done some things with Special Olympics in the past. They're tremendous. I would think that they should, put her out there. Certainly honor her at some event. Her with the torch to open the next games. So something like that. I think they are, Sheila. I think they are. Something else. I know Harriet Brown. It is. I agree, Matt. Let's see. But folks, the State House, it's odd up there. Well, that's exactly. Wayne is going down the right way. I'm telling you, Mary, it was not easy. And that lady Friday night, listen, it was freezing out. It was. Why was it so cold? Isn't it springtime? When does it warm up? When that, you do, Amanda. You absolutely do. I don't, I marvel at people that have certain skills that I don't have. So I have my own skill set. Aggressive, energy, being able to pick and drive a story. I was very happy we were able to put out the word. I was very happy. I wasn't in a bubble. It wasn't 10 people watching. It wasn't me and 3 people. There were a lot of people. Check the videos. Between all of my platforms, this thing has now generated close to 1 million views. And that is just missing, share, get the word out. Day 3, day 4, day 5. Where's Linda? It was, that's what you have to do. Now, I want to, by the way, folks, Bridget is the best in the business. Good evening, Linda. So, if you've ever, I use a lot of movie analogies. What I think happened, no one's asked me what I think happened. I'll share what I think happened. Thank you very much, Janice. And I also wanna, I don't begrudge. When I was at, when I was, excuse me, following the FBI, then suddenly the TV stations came out. Okay, they saw my feed. Whatever. Let's get the word out. When I was videoing the drone takeoff, and then suddenly Channel 10 shows up. That's totally fine. Good. Let's get more coverage on it. When I said we're going to be at the house, everybody gather here later, I loved it. I get there, Channel 10's there, Channel 12's there, and we have a crowd. The caregivers were tremendous. Gina was excellent. Um, it was just, I know, Jessica. I mean, no one is really. Thank you very much, Gene Kimball. But what do I think? All right, I'll share what I think happened. Hi there, Edelina. What a beautiful name. Thank you, Brenda. If you've ever seen the film Ransom, and it doesn't go the way they thought, Mel Gibson, I don't remember some of the other people in it, but it kind of falls apart. So I don't know, but it seems odd that she is okay. Yeah, she's a Christian person, all right. And Scarborough, okay, thank you, Bridget. And I mean, I think it does, Dolores. I just wonder when you have a number of people involved. And thank you, Brenda. And absolutely, Lauren. And it was so cold. I can't believe it. The wind was blowing through me. Thank you, Tony. If you're asking me, I think they had her somewhere. I don't know what the plan was, but maybe they just thought they'd say, oh, she escaped, is missing, and that would be the end of it. And they were wrong. And I think the more attention we put on it, that's right, Jessica. And thank you, Sarah. And when they started to see that, I think somebody panicked. And then if you've ever seen the movie Ransom, that's right, Kelly. That was, now it was entertaining. At the time, it's like, where is this going? She was starting to throw bottles at us, for crying out loud. Thank you, Janine. And I think they panicked and were like, who wants to catch a murder charge on this? So she was fed, she was cared for, she wasn't dehydrated, she had her medicine. No, thank you, Wayne. Chrissy was great, and so was she. They were. I don't know. I don't know. And I will admit, folks, Saturday night with the family, you start to wonder and think that. Thank you, Brenda. That I hate to even say it, but you start to think. I just hope they can recover the body. And when I've dealt, listen with Charlotte Lester, and we learned a lot from that. I learned a lot from that. I did. And I don't know, Jose, who had her. Listen, if I knew that, I would be telling you. I don't know. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Deborah, I mean, you guys, everyone can have, right now, there's no, I don't think there's any wrong answer. But it seems odd to me that there's a car on the street and it's unlocked and it's kind of in the area. And then suddenly she is found there and she's been fed and had water. And it's as if someone was keeping her somewhere. And then they just, I find it that, well, that's the whole thing, Anne Marie. It is a kidnapping charge. It is. But we don't know, Maureen. We don't know. That is an unknown. There's Robin. I'm telling you at this point, I'm going to wait to see what the police, because we don't know. I don't know. It's very troubling. I was as surprised as anybody. Like, what? When one of, I won't say who, one of our parent or adults on autism, I know. Oh, Adeline, you're the last line of defense. And that's why, some of the people that are taking shots, and they were all over the page. I can't believe these people with the nasty comments. How about they were posting, those are old pictures. Why are you posting her old pictures? And they're the month of March on TikTok. It's the most photos I had seen of her. I posted these people, that's old. The picture says March 9th. Isn't that 2 weeks ago now? Or, I mean, that's just a couple weeks ago. And I think it's very, I don't know. I don't know, Jose. I agree, Anne Marie. If you've ever seen, well, there's just been different instances that if you know of someone that was kept somewhere, dehydration is something real. Bridget, I feel they hadn't hit her. It could be. Then you panic. Or maybe someone backs out and is like, I'm not going through with this. You said we could pull this off. You said, now I learned in court, I don't know if it was reported, she has family in New York. The caregiver now, Roberta. I don't know. And especially being diabetic, Anne Marie, the family was saying, oh my God, this long without her medicine, she's going to have a seizure. She takes seizure medication every 4 hours. So she went Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days. And they're in the hospital and they're saying, we can't believe what good condition. I think it's odd. I know, Kathy. I'm sure the doctors, I don't know if we're ever going to know that. We would know that with if people are arrested and there are charges with that. But otherwise, we may never know that. Chrissy's great. They're so great. I miss them already. I want to be very clear. I don't know what happened. Right now, I don't think anyone knows what happened. I can tell you, I believe the Cranston police will learn what happened. Absolutely. I was, and I'll share with you guys. I mean, yesterday, all right, you work for the state newspaper, the Providence Journal. Like, what's the caretaker's name? Like, dude, like, what is your problem? You're the Providence Journal. I had it on DePietro.com Saturday at 2:00. Wake the fuck up. Excuse my language. What is wrong with you? Like you supposed to. I treat it as I want to know everything possible about the story. When I get into something like that, I'm consuming information. I'm searching out people that have information. And it's that's why, excuse me. Thank you, Bendy. Yes. Thank you, Bendy. Something else, by the way, I want to praise her brother, John. Her nephew, John, is just so great. The family is great. I think so, Janice. I think you're right. Sheila, a nonverbal, thin, older woman is not going to talk. I don't know what was going on. Very vulnerable. Very vulnerable. I don't know what's going to happen. Kerry, I don't think they've decided that. Her previous address was Brooklyn. You know what? Thursday night when you were watching, and then I was happy. I got tipped off. Folks, I'll share with you. It's even amazing to me. As I'm leaving, right? I'm leaving North Clarendon. Crime Lab was there Thursday night. Who was there on Thursday night? Nobody. Thursday night, I get a tip off. Cranston Crime Lab is on that street, St. Clair in Providence. A member of the media today was like, what? Saying who? Where? I'm like, the other address. We were there Thursday night filming them, searching the other address. Asleep at the switch. I think you're right, Bridget. I think you're right. I don't understand. Oh, you people, she made a mistake. She's a good Christian. You don't lie. She lied to the police. She lied to the police in a life and death situation. And that's what really angered the police. They wasted a lot of time. at Burlington Coat Factory. It threw off the search. It did. It threw off the search. That's interesting. Moving around a lot. Very interesting. Well, whatever had happened, and we don't know. I agree, Nikki. Folks, also, I can't stress power of prayer. Power of prayer. Prayer works. Prayer centers you. I am telling you, as a cancer survivor, it brings you closer to your center of gravity. It clarifies things. You know, during the course of each day and a night, I was praying for the strength and patience to keep pushing. That's when we call on it. Let alone it's Lent. But there's so many things. They are fantastic. I've heard there were complaints about her. I don't know. I didn't see her comment. No, with the F bomb. That's right. I don't know, Lind. We're not sure about that. I appreciate that, Brenda. Again, listen, they have different styles. I have my own style. You saw me in the scrum today outside the courthouse, firing questions at her. It's also kind of funny. The guy that was walking with them with the hat, Uncle TT, because that's what it is for that crime, Katerina. That's what it is. Now, it doesn't mean there can't be more charges, but right now, those are the charges. But I can tell you that they're watching her. I would think they are watching her. And if you saw it, the scrum, maybe I shouldn't tell this, but what you're supposed to do is the attorney and I don't know, he was just like an extra body. The attorney said, bring someone. I don't know who that attorney is, by the way. I've never seen him before. But anyhow, what they're supposed to do is they're supposed to walk in front and say, all right, keep moving, and just keep moving as they're trying to get to the car. The guy walked behind her. So I'm filming and I just stop. Roberta, the Cranston caregiver, bangs into me. No, she assaulted me. No. But anyhow, I know, Jeannie, it is. It is scary. It is very, very frightening. It is. But let's talk about, the good news. This is really incredible. I think it's incredible that everyone came together. I think it's a motivational, I know it is, moment to motivate people. We should make changes. I love that the chief of police in Cranston was calling for that. Yes, it is. It is locked up, but I don't know what to make of it. So many people, and this had a happy ending. This had a happy ending. I also, Cranston police put it out, and then other police departments put it out. Folks, you tell me, I viewed this as a state emergency. Where was the governor? Where was Matos? Where was Seth Magaziner? I viewed this as everybody stops and we have to find her while she's still alive. What troubles me, if this were child of a judge, child of an elected official, child of someone considered a somebody, they would have spared no expense to get everyone out there. That's not the way it should go. We don't know, Heather. We don't know. See, to me, that's the way the system should work. That, to me, is justice. People talk about justice and the way the system should work. The system should work for the most vulnerable compared to anybody else. That's how it should work. He is, Sandra. He is. And again, I'm not even using that as to take a pot shot at him. I think he and Matos, listen, these people should not be in power. There's no leaders up there. Yeah, that's right. They were at the Mayor De Silva fundraiser. You're funny, Jessica Perry. I like, that's what I would use. If I was Governor Juan, that's what I would use the platform for, right? Like the governor wants some airtime. Attention, good evening, good morning, whatever, all Rhode Islanders. This person, I need everybody. And I know NCAA is in town. I turned down. I was offered tickets. A friend of mine said, let's go to the game. I initially had said, I said, I can't go. I can't go. What? Sit there? Pretend I'm watching the game? No, no. But that's what it should be for. McKee, making sure can I get a picture with Rick Pitino? Like, listen, your friggin' bridge is falling down. You have someone who's fighting for their life, and he's got his aides trying to get photos with all the college coaches. That's embarrassing to me. Not a leader. Not a leader. There was a statement, Sheila. I posted it on the page. It's on the Facebook page. There is a statement from there. Yes, she certainly does, Ashley. Oh, yeah. And that's why, when I highlighted some of those TikTok videos, this is almost like someone living a double life. If and just dancing suggestively, and she's toasting, and she's with this young guy, and they're going to get married, and we don't know. Motive is not established. I want to be very clear right now. At what time is it? 8:30. I always say we'll just go for a couple of minutes, but I think it is good for us to be able to talk in this manner. Right now, I don't know. I don't know what happened. I don't know. It's the whole thing is I can tell you her lying to the police did not help situations. That's why she got arrested in that situation. So I don't know. How did she end up in that car? I don't know. Will there be more charges? Let's go through the list. Will there be more charges? Hi there, Debbie. Will there be more charges against Roberta, the caretaker? I don't know. Will more people be arrested? I don't want to keep saying the same thing. It's an odd case. She was in that car. I don't know. I'm going to wait for the Cranston police. We'll see what they come out of it. But it does seem if you look at there were pictures that she's got 4 children. She's getting divorced from the husband. She's got a whole new life and image. She's got this little boy toy. He's a singer from Haiti. He doesn't work. She works, gives him money. They're out dining and drinking and dancing. She's got the designer bags and clothes, the Lexus SUV. It would seem to be someone that certainly has money rolling in somehow. I don't know. I think it's a little odd, but I don't know. Yes. Okay. I didn't know that, Josephine. People are saying different amounts of money. Josephine, you redeemed yourself. Do we know whose car? That has already been reported, Deborah. Yep. I would think so, Chris. I would think so. It sure see. Again, I don't want to keep saying the same thing over and over. All right. I want to again though. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, Sugar Mama. Thank you, Brenda. I like that. Yeah, he's a bum. He's a young guy. He's he speaks to her in Creole. I don't know what to make of it. I want to be that's not a race thing though. This is I don't obviously I don't know this person, the caretaker. Caregiver. The one-on-one support. But in the moment of truth, you gotta what is just so selfish. I can't get past it. And that's why the sisters were, today the nieces were so angry. Is she was lying. Linda is in need. Those lies could have cost her life. Could have. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yes, I did see that, Taylor. Yep. That's exactly right. And now that she's alive, and now they can keep dibs, they will do a very thorough, and they will work their way through this investigation, and we'll see how it comes out. All right. Listen, again, thank you everybody. I'm glad. I mean it. I mean it. And now Carol, who's terrific, part of our Road Patrol Command Center. There was a stabbing Thursday night. Do you remember this? There was the triple stabbing on it's like Morley. It's off of Elmwood. And Carol, who's great, and picked up on it with the command center. I think it was Carol, actually. I think it was just Carol, actually. And see, that's the thing, Amanda. And that's the part that's unforgivable. That's the part right there. Could have had a totally different outcome. Imagine they wasted all that time because of lies. But anyhow, and then just something I said, we're not going to go to the stabbing. I know that must sound odd. I have friends that are like, what a life you are living. I'm not going to go to the stabbing. I'm going to follow the Cranston crime lab. No, just something I felt, there's something up here. And so that's why we were there. And by the way, John told me that he and his dad were watching. I didn't know that. I didn't even know them then. Thursday night, Linda's family were watching, like, look at this. Like, we didn't know about this address in Providence. And this guy is out there on Facebook and TikTok filming, by the way, in the rain on Thursday night. There was just something about it. I was like, no, we're staying right here. We blew off the triple stabbing. And by the way, no one cooperated anyway, so we didn't miss anything. Yes, thank you, Michelle. Yes, tomorrow night, we're going to be back in it. Yep. All right, listen, I mean it. Thank you, everybody. We have a good thing going. I do. I appreciate it. I see you. There's just so much. There's some bad with the story, but I think we should focus on the good parts. And I want you to know, I really look forward to. We'll see if it can happen. If it can't, not a problem. But I would love to have little Linda sitting right here, and we could be dancing to TLC Waterfall. Folks, again, it is the Lenten season. Power of prayer. It centers you. Pick it up. A lot of people have problems. They go to the wrong places. I'm telling you, that doesn't let you down. Thank you again, everyone. We will be on tomorrow. Enjoy this Monday night. Linda is alive.